is Cheri and I have two kids. One is 3 and one is almost 11. And I had met Susan at a business event that I actually wasn't going to go to either, because I'm very much an introvert and I didn't know anybody, but I was trying to get my name out there for our invention that I created because of my son, Eli. And I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to go. And so I met Susan there. She shared the patching just a little bit, and I ended up calling her, and I was going to talk about Kava, our invention, with her. But instead I said, I want to know what you're talking about with these patches. Do you think it will help my son?
And, I just want to interject here, that we can't recommend patches to children because there are no clinical trials. And if you know anything about David Smith and LifeWave, we're all about clinical studies and clinical trials, but it is a parent's prerogative, to use it with your children. And I've heard David say, that used to, he didn't recommend it for children, but now he sees the need with a lot of needs that, children have these days. And so Cheri decided to patch her son, Eli. So tell us a little bit about what was going on with Eli up to that point. I guess he was 10 years old.
Yep. He is 10 years old still. He'll be 11 in November. When he was born rare. A very rare disorder that wasn't detected because of a newborn screening getting lost. And so it came with lots of complications and setbacks. And he wasn't supposed to make it past 14 days old. He wasn't supposed to walk or talk. And it comes with a lot of different things that he deals with. I'm going to read it off so I don't miss anything. He has speech and language delays, fine motor skills are lacking, seizures. He's had a mini stroke. Toileting complication. He goes through 50 to 60 diapers in a week during the day. He goes to the bathroom every night in his pants, peeing and pooping, and so I have to give him a shower every morning. There is a lot of different memory loss. Every day is a new thing. If I teach him one thing one day, it's still new to him the next day. He has no awareness of stranger danger. Everyone is his best friend. There's no awareness of physical boundaries. He'll hug anybody he sees. He'll talk to anybody he sees. He just doesn't realize that not everybody wants to be hugged. Eli has been stuck around 4 years old mentally for the last 6 to 7 years. He hasn't got past kindergarten work in school. It's always new to him each year, no matter how we teach him. It's always new, and he doesn't retain it, which is super frustrating for him and for me because I'm his teacher. He has a hard time forming words and is very delayed in answering questions. So if you ask him a question, you have to wait 10 to 15, sometimes a minute, let it process, and then he will talk to you. So it's very hard when you're trying to parent somebody that you think is rebelling for different things, and he's not. He's just delayed in so many things, and every year he's stuck. And when we went to his doctor, he said, well, here's the scale of kids progressing, and it goes all the way up, and Eli is right here, and it's been flatlined for 6 years.
Wow. I know that is frustrating. It was frustrating for me just to homeschool an ADD kid. Well, tell me what happened and why you decided to start patching him, and what happened in that first week.
Yeah, so we started patching him, and in the first 5 days, he went from, I'm going to read this off too. The first 5 days, he went from 50 diapers in a week to 3 to 5 during the day.
Wow.
And then he was still wetting and pooping the bed every night at this point. And we're about 14 weeks in now. And within week 1, the full week, he had only had 5 bedwetting and 3 BMs at night. And he had only 3 diapers daytime in the entire week.
Wow.
He was about 50% less seizure activity. He wasn't turning white. He wasn't asking to take a nap. He was responding better. His focus was better. He could take one-step instruction, which sometimes he couldn't do most days, and you would have to help him remember his task every step. It was very frustrating for him and me because I wasn't sure if he was listening or just, being a kid and defiant. So,
right. And I'm sure
And
you
then,
got excited that first week when you started seeing these changes.
yeah, I run another business, and I'm inventing a product called Kaba. So I'm very busy and doing a lot of different things. So I told Susan and Dr. Dunn that I wasn't going to sell this, but day 5, I'm like, I can't, it's not only me sharing it. Eli is sharing his story. He patches people everywhere he goes. Have you heard about this? And he'll show them this, his sticker, he says. And they're like, what are you talking about? Family reunions we haven't been to in years. He patched 5 people last Friday. He was like sharing it, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So it's really cool to see. In week 2, he had 5 days with no diapers in the daytime. Nighttime diapers, he had only 1 pee accident in his diaper 5 nights in a row. And then it says he could take 2-step instructions, fine motor skills, fingers. He could actually start moving his fingers and holding his fork better, unbuttoning his pants and putting his clothes on, which some days is a very big struggle for him. And I noticed vocal seizures were improving, and he wasn't turning white or asking to take naps. And that was only 2 weeks in.
Wow, that is amazing.
And then 3 weeks in, I have to share, because every week has been different. He has now been able to shower himself almost all by himself, which has never happened. He was, at this point in week 3, he was 90% seizure free, and he was taking 4-step instructions. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I had 20 minutes extra in my morning, and I didn't know what to do with it because I always have to give him what to do, how to do, when to do it every step of his day. And it's very exhausting, and I don't have a lot of time for myself. Between week 4 and week 8, we started weaning himself off of some seizure meds with the help of some doctors. And he started recognizing in boundaries, stranger danger, which I've taught him for 10 years now, and he doesn't know stranger danger. He doesn't even ask the hard questions. You don't have to offer him candy. He just goes and takes off with anybody. So it's very, very scary. But it's now sticking, and he's asking the harder questions. And it's very helpful that I know I don't have to worry about. He's outside playing right now, and I don't have to worry about him going in the street or something. If somebody were to pull over and ask him a question, they could take off with him, no problem. And now I don't have to worry about that, which is good. And then we are in week 14. I think 15 now, but between 8 and 14 weeks, Eli is completely seizure free. No medications, no holistic medications. Clean and dry most days, all day, every day, and wearing big boy underwear. He is clean and dry 3 nights a week and gets up to go potty on his own in the middle of the night, which has never happened. He is mostly showering himself. I do have to make sure he's completely rinsed. He is writing his letters, his numbers, and some sentences and tracing, which he's not been able to do with his fingers, and remembering his ABCs. And now he is remembering every single thing that I've taught him in kindergarten. He'll bring things up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I taught you that for 5 years, and you're finally grasping. This is so cool. He's like, Mom, look what I can do. He's even helping me out in the kitchen and setting the table by himself. He'll pour his sister a drink, which there's no way without spilling he would be able to do that by himself. And now I turn around and he has everything done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like I said, this is life changing for us. He still does get overstimulated some days and needing some extra help, but I see that improving and getting easier for him every week that we're patching.
Wow. Oh my gosh, Cheri, this is just so amazing. I'm just sitting here, oh, teary, because I taught my children and I knew how frustrating it was. But, the fact that, he's getting up at night and going to potty at 10. I mean, most of us remember our little boys doing that when they were 2, and it's just so awesome that this has made that much improvement or helped, his body to improve that much, and that he's remembering what you're teaching him, and the no more seizures. I mean, that has just got to be, wow.
Well, and a lot of people that I've talked to, like, well, we can't, because when you're in the medical community, the especially in these communities, dealing with a lot of medical stuff and issues. It's so expensive. Everything is so expensive. People are like, how do you afford that patch? And I'm like, and I kind of named the things we're not doing now. We're not paying $120 for seizure meds. We're not paying for holistic seizure meds. We're not paying for OTPT and speech. We're not paying for diapers.
Oh, wow. It's
You're
saving
saving a
money.
lot of money.